tell us how the method of hiring and promoting teachers can affect the effective management of school system. Is there any corruption in the method of hiring teachers, or is there any godfatherism in the employment and promotion scheme? I want you to briefly tell us if there is.
The method of hiring teachers and promoting teachers can affect the general performance of students. Presently in Nigeria, you find that teachers are not employed by state governments or even the federal government the way they used to do it many years ago, where there's a general advert and then graduates who have just left the university are interviewed and employed. What you have now is occasional employment of one or two persons. But that is not to say that that's an indices for teacher management in the school. People are employed by systems that are not really very straightforward. That is because they know somebody they're employed. Unlike the cases in the past where you had general advert and states employed people and posted them to schools. Their ministries of education posted them to schools. But having said that, when teachers are employed by state governments or the federal government are posted to schools, the issue of management of teachers at that level, the responsibility hangs on the ability of the principal to manage those teachers. So even if the teachers are employed because they know they have godfathers, their performance in the school can be dictated by the management at the school level. But when it comes to promotion, of course, the governments also have their criteria for promotion. Promotion is not done on that's a one-person level. Just one person is promoted at a time. You find that the Federal Ministry of Education have guidelines for appointments and promotion. And these promotions are carried out, you know, with after a conduct of interview. It used to be oral interview, but now it's written interviews. And the state governments have also borrowed a leaf from the federal government. They now conduct interviews before candidates are promoted. So you cannot bypass that interview. People are not promoted just because somebody likes them. You have to perform well at that interview before you are promoted.
All right, madam. I can still remember you said, even though you have a godfather who helped you get employment to be a teacher,
yeah,
the situation now lies on the principal,
yeah,
to manage you effectively.
Yeah.
Now I'm referring to Mr. Marshall. You have been a teacher, yeah, and you know how your principals, or you've been under under one or two principals. I want you to tell us in your own way how their management, or what way you see was effective in the management of the numbers of principals that you have been under all through your years of service.
Yeah, as you say, the principals are trying in their own little way. But again, the government factor is also a problem, in the sense that the principals are just like a ceremonial head. They have not the wherewithal to mete out some serious punishment or whatever on teachers if they find that such teachers that were employed were not doing their jobs. So you find that the management on the aspect of the principals are weak, because the same godfatherism, when the principal try to make some punishment on the so-called teacher, either the principal is transferred or the kind of reinforcement is given to the teacher, and he comes back and brag, have you not done your worst? I'm still okay. So you see that that is one of the problems of managing teachers. But all the same, the principals are trying in their own little way, bringing in some personal effort. See that?
Okay, I get it. What you're trying to say is that the problem is from the root. I mean, the government themselves. So even most of the principals were actually employed through godfatherism, because before you get there, you must have been a teacher. You're not employed as a principal.
No.
Okay, I get what you're trying to say. But in this same arrangement, is there any way that the teachers themselves could help, even if the principal, I know not everybody got into that seat with dubious or yes. Even how can teachers themselves help assist the principal manage the school well?
Yes, as teachers trying to help the principal to manage the school, what the teacher has to do is, being he himself or herself, knowing that he has been saddled with a responsibility to do a job. And so when the principal says let's move, everybody is supposed to move. So as teachers, you have to be up and doing. And like I've always told people, when a teacher works his onions, he doesn't need somebody to put him all around. So while the employment system has a problem, while the principal's hands are tied to some extent, when the teacher that make up that little organization in terms of individual schools are alive to their responsibility, we find out that the management of the school system will improve.
Okay, so we are now talking about cooperation.
Yeah.
The teachers should try to cooperate with principals and do their job so Nigeria can move forward. The educational system of Nigeria can be rebuilt. And now, madam, I want to ask you if teachers are sufficiently knowledgeable in their subject areas where they teach. Like now we have people, large number of students failing in English and math. I want to ask, are teachers really knowledgeable in their areas where they teach? Like a physics teacher, a math teacher, an English teacher, is he really knowledgeable? Does their employment take care of that? Do they really say we are employing physics teachers and we have to interview them, know how much physics they know and how much qualification they have to teach students physics? Is there any level of hiring that takes up that angle?
You have to remember that people who are hired to teach in secondary schools are graduates of tertiary education. And when you talk of graduates of tertiary education, you think of the goals of tertiary education, which talks of developing the individual's capability to understand and appreciate the local and external environment. You are talking of people who have been developed to be able to be self-reliant. People who have been inculcated values that will enable them to survive. These are graduates of tertiary education. Now, the teacher who comes out from the tertiary institution is not going to teach what he learned at that tertiary level in the secondary school level. So at the take-off time, that teacher is to use what he acquired from the tertiary education to prepare himself to take off.
All right.
So it is not it is the tertiary education that he has acquired that will enable him to prepare for whatever subject he's assigned to teach.
Okay.
He's not going to teach because the physics he learned way back in secondary school is that knowledge. He's just going to recall it. No, he's going to now prepare to start teaching.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Before we take a break.